I have 3 children, but lately it seems my attention is focused primarily on my younger 2, who are twins about to turn 8 in October. My daughter, Lily, is a social butterfly. She's outgoing, makes friends easily, and has a knack for being invited to every event imaginable. There are 2 girls on our street, Emma and Sophie, who are her constant companions. They spend hours playing in the yard, running around, and generally having a blast. Their laughter fills our home, and it's a comfort to know that Lily is so well loved and so connected with her peers. My son Max is different. He's also 7, but his world operates on a slightly different frequency. Max has autism spectrum disorder, ASD, though he doesn't have any cognitive delays. He's been receiving support through the school district, especially for his speech and social emotional skills. Despite his progress, there's a noticeable gap between his experiences and those of his sister. While he has friends at school and mentions them often, he doesn't seem to receive the same level of social invitations that Lily does. This disparity was especially clear this morning. Max came to me with a look of quiet disappointment and mentioned that his closest friend at school is having a birthday party this Saturday. Max had been eagerly awaiting an invitation, but it never came. It's a recurring theme. Many kids come to Max's birthday parties, but rarely reciprocate with invitations of their own. The imbalance is heart-wrenching. Lily, on the other hand, is invited to sleepovers, birthday parties, and playdates on a regular basis. She often comes home bubbling with excitement about her latest adventure, while Max is left on the sidelines, wondering when his turn will come. We try to make up for it by inviting friends over for Max whenever we can, but the reality is that he rarely has a specific friend to invite. It's incredibly challenging to witness this. I know that in some ways we're fortunate. Max has friends, he's included in some activities, and we do everything we can to ensure he isn't lonely. But the stark difference in how Lily and Max are treated is tough to ignore. It hurts to see Max's face light up with hope every time he hears about an event, only to be let down when he isn't included. I'm doing my best to support him, to help him feel valued and included, but sometimes it just feels like too much. I'm overwhelmed by the constant comparison between his experiences and Lily's, and unsure where to turn for support or how to express these feelings more constructively. It's a struggle to balance fairness and to keep my frustration from overshadowing my efforts to nurture both of my children. Case 2. The memory of that day is etched into my mind as clearly as if it happened yesterday. Adam and I had always been adventurous, but that particular day was different. We wandered deeper into the woods than usual, driven by the thrill of discovery. It was then that we stumbled upon the old well, half hidden by overgrown grass and vines. The sight of it was eerie, like something out of a ghost story. The well's stone walls were cracked and moss-covered, and its opening seemed to plunge into an endless darkness. I remember the moment so vividly, Adam's wide eyes as he peered into the well, the hesitation in his steps. I had dared him to get closer, teasing him about his fear. "Come on, Adam," I taunted, my voice filled with a mix of challenge and amusement. "It's just an old well. What's the worst that could happen?" Adam's face was pale as he looked at me, trying to muster up the courage. "I don't know," he said, his voice trembling slightly. "It looks pretty dangerous." I laughed, the sound echoing through the trees. "You're just being a scaredy cat. What are you afraid of?" As I spoke, a mischievous thought crossed my mind. I wanted to see if I could get him to the edge, to prove he wasn't as brave as he claimed to be. Without thinking, I gave him a gentle push. It was meant to be playful, a harmless nudge to get him closer to the well. But the moment he stumbled, I realized my mistake. His foot slipped on the loose dirt, and he lost his balance. I watched in horror as he tumbled toward the dark opening. His scream was something I'll never forget. It was a raw, terrified cry that seemed to stretch on forever. I froze, my heart pounding in my chest as I saw him cling to the edge of the well. His face was twisted in pain, and his leg was positioned at an awkward angle. "Adam!" I yelled, my voice cracking. "Hang on!" I scrambled to find something to help him. Nearby, I spotted an old rope lying among the weeds. With trembling hands, I grabbed it and lowered it into the well. "Hold on to the rope!" I shouted. "I'm going to pull you up." Adam reached for the rope, his movements slow and painful. I could hear him groaning as he tried to pull himself up. It took all my strength, but I managed to get him out of the well. When he was finally on solid ground, I could see the pain etched on his face. His leg was badly bruised, and he could barely stand. We made our way back home, each step a struggle. The weight of what I'd done hung over me like a dark cloud. I knew that if our parents found out the truth, I would be in serious trouble. As we approached the house, my mind raced, trying to come up with a plausible explanation for what had happened. When we walked through the front door, our parents were waiting, their faces filled with worry. "Where have you two been?" my mother asked, her eyes scanning Adam's dirty, bruised form. I could see the concern in her eyes as she took in Adam's injury. I felt a surge of panic. If she knew the truth, she would never forgive me. I had to protect myself, even if it meant lying to protect Adam from the consequences of my actions. "He tripped," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. We were just walking, and he tripped near the well. Adam winced as my mother examined his leg, but he didn't say anything. I could tell he was in pain, but he was also exhausted and disoriented. He didn't have the energy or clarity to dispute my story. My father shook his head in frustration. "You need to be more careful," he scolded Adam. "You're always so clumsy." I stood there, my heart heavy with guilt, as I watched them blame Adam for something he didn't do. I wanted to confess, to tell them the truth, but the fear of the consequences kept me silent. Instead, I let them believe Adam was at fault, and I watched as the blame fell squarely on his shoulders. Over the years, Adam's demeanor changed. He became quieter, more reserved. He no longer had the carefree spirit of our childhood days. It was like the accident had left a scar on him that went beyond the physical injury. He withdrew from me and from everyone else, and I couldn't help but wonder if my actions that day had something to do with it. The guilt has never left me. It's been a constant companion, a reminder of the pain I caused my brother. Every time I see him, I'm reminded of the lie I told and the trust I betrayed. I've thought about coming clean so many times, but the fear of his reaction and the potential fallout always hold me back. I wish I could undo what happened, but I know that's impossible. I regret not being honest, not telling Adam the truth about what really happened. The secret I've kept has poisoned our relationship, and it's something I don't know how to fix. The guilt continues to eat away at me, and I'm left with the haunting knowledge that I caused my brother's pain and never had the courage to make it right. The years rolled on, and the weight of my secret grew heavier with each passing day. Despite my attempts to bury it deep within, it never truly faded. Every milestone in Adam's life, every family gathering, and even the most mundane moments seemed to carry the echo of that day. I watched Adam grow into a man, always observing from a distance, feeling the pangs of guilt as he continued to grapple with the shadows of his past. Adam's injury had healed, but the impact on his spirit was more profound. He struggled with trust issues, and his once vibrant personality was replaced by a more guarded demeanor. It was as if the well had not only scarred his leg, but had also left an invisible mark on his soul. I often found myself wondering how different things might have been if I had confessed the truth from the start. In our teenage years, Adam withdrew further. He became introverted, avoiding family activities and spending long hours alone in his room. Our once close bond fractured, and though I tried to reach out, my attempts were often met with silence or short, clipped responses. The guilt I felt was overwhelming, and it seemed that every effort I made to reconnect was futile. I could see the pain in his eyes, a silent testimony to the fact that something was deeply wrong, but I was paralyzed by fear and shame. Our parents, oblivious to the true cause of Adam's struggles, continued to blame his personality changes on typical teenage behavior. They never suspected that I had played a part in his transformation. They saw his withdrawal as a phase, a part of growing up, but I knew better. Every time Adam looked at me, I saw the trust that had been broken, and it hurt more than I could ever put into words. The guilt intensified when Adam went to college. He left home with a mixture of excitement and apprehension, eager to start a new chapter in his life, but still carrying the weight of his past. I thought that maybe the distance would help him, that he might find some solace away from the environment where his pain had begun. Yet, even from afar, I felt the sting of guilt every time I saw his name pop up on my phone or heard about his struggles through our parents. When Adam came home for breaks, the family dynamics felt strained. Conversations seemed awkward, and the once natural ease we had as siblings was replaced by a palpable tension. I tried to act normal, to pretend that everything was fine, but the truth was it wasn't. Every interaction was a reminder of what I had done, of the secret I was keeping. It was like living in a perpetual state of anxiety, knowing that the truth was always just beneath the surface, waiting to come out. After college, Adam's struggles seemed to evolve into more complex issues. He found it difficult to form lasting relationships and struggled with feelings of inadequacy. I watched him go through therapy and various attempts at self-help, hoping that he might find some peace. The process was painful to witness, knowing that I had contributed to his pain and had never been honest with him. I wanted to support him, to be there for him, but my guilt and fear held me back. Years passed, and now, as adults, Adam and I have settled into a routine of superficial interactions. We exchange pleasantries during family gatherings and offer polite conversation, but the deep connection we once had is gone. I often wonder if he ever suspects the truth, or if he has simply accepted his pain as part of his life. There are moments when I catch a glimpse of the old Adam, the one who used to be full of life and laughter, but those moments are rare and fleeting. The secret I've carried for so long continues to haunt me. I've thought about confessing on numerous occasions, but the fear of damaging our relationship beyond repair always holds me back. I imagine the impact it would have on Adam, on our family, and on myself. The thought of confronting the truth seems almost unbearable. The guilt of my actions and the fear of the consequences keep me trapped in a cycle of silence and remorse. I wish I could find a way to make amends, to find some form of redemption. I want to tell Adam what really happened, to apologize for the pain I caused him, but I don't know if he would ever be able to forgive me. I live with the constant fear that the truth might destroy the fragile semblance of normalcy we've managed to build over the years. The weight of the secret feels like a burden I can't escape, and the guilt continues to eat away at me, a relentless reminder of my failure to protect and care for my brother. As time goes on, I hope that one day I'll find the courage to face the truth and make things right. For now, I live with the regret and the haunting knowledge that I betrayed my brother's trust. The secret remains buried, but it is a constant companion, a dark shadow that never fully fades. And though I may never fully absolve myself of the guilt, I hope that someday Adam can find the peace and happiness that has eluded him for so long.